Good evening, viewers, and welcome to this edition of NTV Sports Beat. It's Wednesday, the 29th of July, and I'm Curtis Morton. In our headlines, Broad joins the 500 Club, and in our feature for this evening, all set for the big swim come Saturday. We'll take this break, and I'll be right back.
Disability don't pick out, anybody can get about, so they don't deserve no knockout. Hey, help your fellow man. Just one fall or an accident could put you out real permanent. So be compassionate and decent. Hey, help your fellow man. Disability, not inability. Anybody could get disability. Take the disordered disability. Hey, help your fellow man. Old and young could get disability. Rich and poor could get disability. You and me could get disability. Hey, help your fellow man. This message is brought to you through the kind sponsorship of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Commission for UNESCO, the Ministry of Community Development, and the National Association of Persons with Disabilities.
Well, I'm back, and we start with cricket. It was all about one man. Stuart Broad, in claiming his 500th Test wicket on the last day, sealed his dominance over West Indies in this third and final Test at Emirates Old Trafford and delivered England's fight back from 0-1 down in the series to reclaim the Wisden Trophy 2-1. Broad's 10 wickets for the match, not to mention his highly anticipated step into the 500 club, overshadowed Chris Woakes' 5-wicket haul. But Woakes' contribution was no less important, given that England had to take 8 wickets on the rain-affected last day to place their hands on the trophy, which will now be retired at Lord's. Broad's 6 for 31 helped the bold West Indies out for 197 in response to England's first innings of 369, to which he had contributed a valuable 62 from just 45 balls. The summarized scores: England 369, Pope 91, Butler 67, Burns 57, and 226 for 2 declared, Burns 90, Root 68 not out, Sibley 56, beat West Indies 197, Broad 6 for 31, and 129, Woakes 5 for 50, Broad 4 for 36, England winning by 269 runs and taking back the trophy from the Windies. We'll take this break, and I'll be back with our feature for this evening.
Welcome to Nevis.
It's easy to believe that all Caribbean islands are the same until you visit Nevis.
Nevis is the Caribbean of a bygone era.
You will enjoy a most intimate vacation on Nevis. You're only a stranger here once.
We offer exclusive and barefoot luxury stays.
With only 400 hotel rooms, our island may be exclusive,
but the warm, genuine and friendly welcome is just everywhere.
We look forward to meeting you.
Visit nevisisland.com.
Well, I'm back, and tonight swimming is in the spotlight. According to Winston Crook, president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Swimming Federation, all is set for the big swim set for Saturday. Let's take in this. This coming Saturday, the 1st of August, will signify a very important event here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It's the commemoration of the 50th year of the sinking of the MV Christina. I'm with Winston Crook, and he and his team, they are organizing a very important event to commemorate this significant tragedy. Winston, tell us a little bit about what's going to be happening from your end on Saturday coming.
Okay, Curtis. Basically, we are coming from a standpoint of the Swimming Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, in collaboration with one of the swim programs called Swim to Win, and with Stevenson Manners and Armand Dason, who are producing a documentary. And also the NIA are doing the traditional celebratory commemoration of the event. We came up with the idea to, as an honorific and as a commemorative, to round out the day and make it a full day of a commemoration, that we would do a swim. The swim will take place from the site of the Christina to right where we are now at Pinneys Beach, which is a very, very long swim. But if we listen back to the stories that were told and how persons had managed to navigate and make their way somehow from the site of the disaster to Nevis. We thought it only fitting that we do represent that and recreate that, but in a safe and representative way as opposed to a life struggle. We got 4 athletes who have been training diligently for the last 3 months to prepare for this, because depending on the weather conditions, it'll be anything between 8.5 to 10 kilometers of a swimming, which is 3 to 4 hours in the water. No mean feat, and it's not going to be easy at all on the day. That's part of the commemorative event, and another part will be with Ellis Chatterton and the team from the Dive Centre. We'll be placing a wreath. I know that traditionally Winston Skeet and the Sea Hustler place a wreath on the surface. Our idea was to try and have something semi-permanent there. In the long-term goal is to have something permanent, but semi-permanent for this weekend, and they'll be placing a wreath right next to the site and as close as we can to the wreck, and so that future visitors to the wreck will be able to see that and see the wreath for themselves rather than drifting off. That's one part of it. At the same time, we'll be starting the swim from that location, and the Tango 2, which is also partnered with us in this, their team will be taking survivors, family members, dignitaries, and the press, Curtis. We'll be taking them along to the site from Charlestown, and once we get to the site, there will be a brief ceremony, start of the swim, laying of the wreath, and then as the swimmers make their way to Nevis, so too will the Tango 2. The difference is that rather than having one single wreath to commemorate everybody, this year we're going to have a single wreath per victim of the disaster, and those wreaths will be placed into the ocean during the journey from the site to Nevis. We think it's highly representative of the struggles and to remember those many lives that were lost. And we're trying to do it and tie in, I'm going to call it a sport, but it's also an activity, as we try and chart a new course, a new frame of thought, try and take a tragedy, and which obviously we're recognizing after 50 years. But we are hopeful that this effort by the swimmers and the collective program that we put together will help us to chart a different direction, a different frame of thought for the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. So, as I said, it's a collaborative event, collaborative effort, and we are hopeful that everybody in St. Kitts and Nevis, whether they're living here in the islands or in the diaspora, will join the collective at 4:10 on the 1st of August for a moment of silence. We will be there. I know the survivors and the families will be here. We hope everybody will join us as we honor and celebrate the lives of those people we lost.
Okay, Winston, tell us a little bit more about the swimmers themselves in terms of the names of those brave persons who will be doing the swim, and tell us how prepared are they in terms of what did their practice entail, some of the lengths they would have swum to prepare for this big event.
Well, our intrepid foursome, the basic idea for the swim, Valerie Gregoire, who is a Canadian, a displaced Canadian who's now resident here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and was actually the first person to represent St. Kitts and Nevis at an international event. It was always her idea, her mission was to do the swim as an honorific, and we talked about it for a number of years, and we wanted to do something significant from the point of view of the Swimming Federation. So that's where this idea really came from. So Valerie Gregoire is probably the most dedicated of the swimmers. She's had it in her mind for many years. She will be joined by Jane Handsome, who many people will know her because they see her either riding around the island or running around the island. She's an Ironman world champion, actually, and I met Jane many years ago in Turkey, of all places, and now she and her husband Gary now live here on the island of Nevis. So Jane is a world championship Ironman. She'll be taking part, and joining those two will be Mary Parks, who is actually a chef here on the island. She's been here about 4 or 5 years, I believe, and is also an avid swimmer. But this is really something that is a real stretch for her, along with Jeff, sorry. Jeff is known that he's the man that's been collecting all the scrap metal here on Nevis and St. Kitts. And Jeff Folsom, him and his kids have all done the channel swim, and he wanted the challenge of joining the Jane and Valerie to see if he could train himself up to get ready. So they started training 3 months ago, almost 4 months ago, and they've been increasing the distance they train. They train sometimes 6 days a week. One of those days always being a very long swim. So they've gone from doing 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers, adding distance each weekend, plus the swimming they've been doing in the week. So it's very, very hard work. To give you a perspective, I'm comfortable now to swim 2 kilometers. But the idea of swimming that 5 times that, I would love to be able to one day, but I know how hard that would be. So we have to recognize the effort they've put into this. It's no easy feat, and we have to respect and actually thank them for making this grand gesture to honor, as I said, and to recognize the lives that were lost.
So once the boat gets to the site, what time do they jump into the water to get here for 4:10?
Well, the plan is to put them in the water at 12 o'clock. The idea is that the wreath laying will take place at 12, alongside the surface wreath, the underwater wreath, and that the Tango 2 will also be there. But we will be starting at 12 because that allows the swimmers 3 to 4 hours, which is what we think the time frame will be, depending on the weather.
I'm glad you said that, because even as we speak, the wind has picked up and we have heard a lot of talk about what is pending. So plan B would be what, Winston, just in case?
We're going to your house.
You know, I walked right into that, Winston. So definitely you'll just probably go to the ceremony straight up.
Yeah, the idea, should the worst thing happen and they cannot swim, I won't let them swim if it's dangerous. Obviously, we're not trying to threaten anybody's life in any way. It's representative. So if it is dangerous, they will not be swimming. In which case, we will just all go on board the Tango 2 and we'll become part of that ceremony, because there's no real reason why that shouldn't take place anyway. So that will take place. We can lay the wreaths, the individual wreaths, end up back here and do the ceremony at 4 o'clock to 4:10.
In terms of the finish, as we look back, my understanding is that they'll be coming somewhere through here where the boys are.
Yeah, we're going to use the area here, not the designated swim area. They're going to come in where the boats would normally come in. Tango 2 will come and dock right there at the far end, plus any of the dinghy support, and we'll encourage the swimmers to come in to the beach right here. I'll put some flags so they can sight it quite comfortably. And then they'll be brought ashore right here and taken off to get a rest and some food. I'm sure they'll need it.
And you did say that in terms of positive things coming out of this negative tragedy. Of course, one of the big aims of your federation is to get people to learn to swim.
That's exactly the point. Our mandate is to teach every child on St. Kitts and Nevis how to swim. Our mission is to try and get a swimming pool, an in-ground swimming pool built, one on St. Kitts, one on Nevis, more if possible, but that will be the idea, and encourage the government on both islands to include swimming in the school's curriculum, so that from the age of 5 and 6, our children are learning how to swim. So that should the unlikely things happen, accidents happen, we're not in control of that. But if somebody goes in the water and they have the ability to swim, they can save their life. They can also save somebody else's life. No other sport offers you this. So it's both a sport and an activity. And of course, obviously looking way, way forward, if we can teach every child in the Federation to swim, we will then teach their big brothers and sisters to swim, and then the parents to swim. So we'll become a swimming nation. And from a swimming nation, we're talking about representation abroad, both regionally and internationally. And of course, a long-term goal, maybe one day we see a St. Kitts Nevis flag flying in an Olympic swimming pool at some event around the world.
With a gold medal.
With a gold medal. Yeah. If Jamaica can do it, and Barbados can do it, and Trinidad can do it, why not St. Kitts and Nevis? We've got to start somewhere.
That's our package for this evening. I am Curtis Morton, reminding you that you can watch sports if you're not fit. But to play sports requires fitness, diligence, and sacrifice. Have a good night.